Hi, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Made by Marymount, the official Marymount Athletics podcast. This is episode 23, and today I'm joined by two standout players on our softball program, Jaclyn and Shanyn Burch. Today, the sisters and I talk about what it's like to be the starting battery sister duo for the Marymount softball team, what it was like coming to Marymount as a transfer and being a part of Team 1, and we see how well the sisters really know each other. With that, let's talk with Jaclyn and Shanyn. Hi, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Made by Marymount, the official Marymount Athletics podcast. This is episode 23, and today I'm joined by Shanyn and Jaclyn Burch from softball. How are you ladies doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good.
I'm good also.
Awesome. I am so excited to talk to you guys today. I don't know if a lot of people know, but you guys are sisters and actually triplets, but, you know, one is not with us here at Marymount. And we're very lucky to have you two here on the softball team. So we're going to chat a little bit about how you guys started playing softball, because I just learned that you guys have pretty much played together your whole life, maybe not in the battery together, but we're going to talk a little bit about how you got started in softball.
So I started when I was young. It was actually me and my other sister, Caitlin, started out. We started playing for this travel team, and me and her started getting into pitching, and we had no one to catch us to practice. And so my mom would actually bribe Jaclyn to catch us, and that's how she ended up playing with us, and she became the catcher.
So yeah, I didn't even play my first year when they played travel, but they needed extra players, and the coach was like, hey, get that other third one to come play out here. And I was like, I don't really want to, but I did anyways. And then, then that came around and they started pitching, and I had been playing in the outfield, and I wanted more playing time, and catching was like one of the more important positions. So then I guess I didn't like it, but then also I got better at it once my mom bribed me to catch them and stuff. But
What'd she bribe you with?
money or just things I wanted or liked.
Fair enough. I figured money was a pretty solid choice there.
Yeah.
And so when we look at you guys, you're seniors here at Marymount, but your first year playing in college, you were not at Marymount. You were at Wesley, but Wesley is no longer in the Atlantic East anymore. So you guys were able to come to Marymount your sophomore year, but you guys have an Atlantic East championship already underneath your belt, which is very cool. Talk about, that experience a little bit and what that was like going through, and then, making the switch, knowing that you wanted to keep playing college ball, and, you came to Marymount at that point.
So when we went to Wesley, we found out that spring that it was getting bought out by Delaware State. And after we won the championship, we're like, oh, well, we ended with a bang, so let's start with a bang with coming to Marymount since it was a new team. So we thought since we ended on a high note, why not try to start on a high note and create the team at Marymount and the culture. So our goal this year is to win another one.
Right.
Yeah, and obviously me and Shannon were young. Me and her kind of had to be the leaders coming in as sophomores. We kind of liked that too, because we did kind of have that championship experience with the winning team. So we thought maybe we could bring those experiences here as well.
And so, you guys are the pitcher and the catcher for Marymount. What's that like being sisters? Do you like it? Okay, well, I probably assume you probably like it. What is it like? Do you find it being really simple, or do you find it sometimes it's hard because you know each other really well?
I like it sometimes and dislike it sometimes. During a game, I feel like she's called me for so long. She knows what I'm going to do next. She knows where the pitch is going to go. But it also gets difficult sometimes because we're sisters, and sisters always fight. So
right. So how do you have to push that stuff aside, or does it or sometimes are you mad at Jack?
I'm just saying, I think as we gotten older, we don't fight as much as we used to, in high school and stuff like that, because it's college, you got to put that aside.
Right.
We're eventually teammates, not sisters. So I think I do. I think we do a good job of not fighting. We never do. I think we're done a great job this year of not doing any of that.
So do you find, you talk about, she's caught you for so long. Do you feel maybe, Jack, this is more of a question for you then, if something's not going right for Shannon, what to say to her in that moment because you've caught her for so long, or is it still hey?
Sometimes I don't think she wants to hear it from me. That's why our pitching coach most of the times comes out and I just laugh and we just have to try and make jokes, because I know sometimes I'll be like, Shannon, you just gotta calm down. She's like, I know. But I'm so maybe she'd rather hear it from someone else, but I think I can give her the hard truth rather than some other people who would catch her if she's not doing as well as she needs to do. So.
And Shannon, you're nodding your head. You agree with that one a little bit?
Yeah, I know when she starts getting mad at me, but she's like, "Come on," and that's how she like says that she's mad at me and like to pick it up.
That's so interesting. So you talk, well, there's three of you, your sister Jaclyn, and you guys will actually face her next week. Am I right? Yes, that's next week. What is that like? So the two of you are on the same team, and then you got your sister, and you're like, well, it's 2 against 1 here. What is that like, coming into a game, playing her, another player that you know really well?
Well, we're all very competitive, so clearly we both do the best that we can to try to beat them. But we also know how like our sister plays. Mm-hmm. So in that aspect, I think we do well. But it's always competitive, and we just want to see who comes out to win.
Yeah, Jaclyn always tells us, she's like, I'm not going to give nothing that you guys can hit, because she doesn't want us to hit against her. But I'm like, well, yeah, whatever. But she's like a really solid player, so that's like a very competitive team to play. So we like playing them.
Yeah, it's always fun. And so, talking about a little bit with you guys being successful, you guys just were honored as Players of the Week, both of you, which is very funny. I feel like my timing is impeccable. But that's, quite the honor to have. And I think it's really cool that you guys get to share that as, that sister duo. What does an award like that here as you're trailing towards the end of your season mean? Like, obviously, it's like, and it's award, it's nice to have, but you still got some of your season left. Is it like encouraging? You're like, okay, cool, I'm doing my job, I just got to keep going? Or is it just kind of like, thanks?
It's definitely encouraging, because it's like, okay, I'm doing something right and I have to keep going. And I think she would agree with that. Just like me and her together, we're not going to win the games. It's the team as in general. So I think everyone's working towards that. And that's what's going to make us win more games.
Yeah, I feel like I've always been stronger on the catching aspect rather than like the hitting. So I've really been trying to work on that like my 3 years. So I'm trying to like help get runs and like help move runners more. And I think I've shown that I've done that this year. So.
Yeah, so I'm glad that you brought that up. I was going to touch on that topic. You've had quite the year at the plate, Jack. This has been a standout year for you, and I think it's really cool that it's your last year too. What's that been like? What's been different this year? You've come up and you're hitting about like 400 right now at the plate. That's crazy, and that's awesome to be doing that your senior year. What's that been like, and what's been the change to really push you forward?
I think it's like my mindset going into this year. Like, we don't get to play again, so I'm like, well, why not just like, stop getting my head. I try to go up there and just have fun rather than like put all this pressure on me to like do well. And I think when I'm having fun, I think that's just the difference. Because I know I could always hit like this. I think it's the mentality of what I've been doing so far.
So you just think like you just went up there clear head, and that's what really did it?
Clear-minded, yes.
Obviously. And, that's a big part of it, too. So with you guys, I think this can go maybe a little bit more towards Shannon, maybe both of you here. So how are you guys able to, let's say, because you play double headers. Almost every game for you guys is double headers. So let's say game 1 doesn't go your way. How are you bouncing back for game 2? Like, what is your strategy, like clearing your head in the between 30 to an hour that you have in between each game? Like, what are you doing just to shake that one off and get ready for your next game?
Just try to clear my head, different mindset, talk with the team more, because usually our energy gets down when you lose one game.
Right.
So we try to come back together. Everyone tries to clear their mind and just start over and try to win the next one.
We know what we're capable of, so I think a lot of the time, like, when we lose, it makes us, like, want to win more. Mm-hmm. And we, like, if you can't tell, I mean, we come back a lot when we come down, and I think that just proves how much we're willing to fight for, like, the rest of this season. So I think that's a lot of people's mentality, which is good on our side, for trying to win games when we do lose, like, for the doubles, for, like, at least splitting the games.
Right.
Not losing both. So.
Right. And I think, too, you talk about, like, talking with your team. If anybody has been to a softball game or even listened to a live stream, I think how encouraging, your teammates are in the dugout when you guys are at the plate. And then every time you see it in the field, somebody makes a play, somebody's running up there, giving them a high five, giving them a hug. What's like that experience like, always knowing that somebody has your back, whether it be, after a strikeout at the plate, or, you make a diving play in the inning, your teammates are going to be there, they're going to be happy, they're going to, support you. What's that environment like, knowing that it's your teammates always have your back?
It's great. I know if I fail, my teammate's going to come right back behind me. Let's say I get out at a bat. I know they're going to come up and get a hit. Or if I miss a pitch and someone gets a hit, I know that my defense is going to be there to support me. So just having that support makes me feel more comfortable on the field.
Right.
And makes me just want to do better for my team.
I think since we do have, like, a smaller team now, we have to trust each other, because we don't have, not that, like, we just don't have we need these people to do what their job, basically.
Right.
So we need to be supportive. We need to give them like a supporting environment so we can encourage them, so we can win games, and so they can be confident in like their abilities and themselves. And I think we do a great job like in the Marymount softball team of that.
Right. And with that, I think that encouragement and the excitement from your team is like really shown through this year. You guys are doing really well in conference right now. And you're nearing the end of your season. You got 3-ish weeks left, 2 weeks. What's that like knowing that you're doing well right now, but you still got some time left? You still got some teams to play. You're taking a trip up to Marywood here soon. You still have teams to play, but you're doing well. So how are you staying in the game still?
We're trying to just do the best we can, winning the conference games, especially because the end goal, we want to host. We don't want to have to travel. So I think that's in our mind as well, just to try to win and to host, because then we get to play at our own field.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think we take the non-conference really seriously, especially when they're more competitive teams, so they prepare us to win in these conference games because they're the ones that inevitably like matter in the end. So I think we're just really pushing conference at this point, like winning in these conference games, so it sets us up for success in the tournaments. Right,
and so you mentioned those non-conference games, using those, really using those to your advantage. So those non-conference games you're going into, like, are you just like, this matters? I'm just trying to make sure and learn from my mistakes here. Is that kind of like the outlook that we're having here on this one? Like, if there's a mistake made, okay, cool, I made that mistake. I can't make it when we play Cabrini. I can't make it when we play Gwynedd. Things like that. Is that kind of how we're looking at it?
Yeah, most definitely. Playing the non-conference games is like a learning experience. When you make that error, it might not matter as much then as it does in conference, because then it could be a game changer. So you're learning the mistakes not to make in conference when it really matters.
Yeah, and I think in like the non-conference, you can try new things out to see like new like lineups, new things like that, new like hitting rotations, and I think that's like helps you for success as well, because you can't take those chances in conference games. So I think that's what's been helping us a lot as well, is being able to rotate people on those non-in-conference games.
And Shannon, I want to talk to you a little bit about pitching. So through your years here at Marymount and through the recruiting process, you guys have gained a couple more pitchers, but through that first year and a little bit through your second year here at Marymount, you pitched a lot because you were one of the only pitchers that Marymount had. What was that like? And still being able to throw a no-hitter back in 21, you were able to still do your job. And I'm sure your arm was tired, but you were able to do your job every single day when you had to show up, even though it was a lot. What was that kind of like, just knowing, okay, I still have to show up. I'm tired. I still have to do my job, because you ultimately had no choice in a way.
Yeah, so since I did pitch a lot the past couple years, I've learned that it's not all on me. I rely on my defense. As a pitcher, some people are strikeout pitchers, some people are ground out pitchers. I'm the type that relies on my defense, so that's made me gain more trust in them. And especially with the more pitching that we have this year, it puts a little bit of rest on me, and just lets the other pitchers go and learn, because they're going to have to learn as I leave. So.
Yeah, I think that's a really important thing to say, because I feel like now, because you have those underclassmen, looking up to you, because you two, as you said earlier, have played a really big leadership role for your team. What's that been like? So you're in this position now where you're helping out these younger pitchers. You, Jack, you've been there in the lineup and behind the dish. You have these girls that are looking up to you. What has that experience been like, knowing that these girls look up to you, and then next year, they're like, what do we do now? Shannon and Jaclyn are gone.
It's definitely been an experience. I take the younger ones under my belt. I try to teach them the way of you got it. It's your defense mostly. It's not all on you, and just making them be a better player. And that's my goal, is to just prepare them for when I leave, because then it's just them.
Mm-hmm. I think when you're younger, the younger catchers, they harp more on the mistakes. And then I think it messes with the mentally. And I think the mental part is so important when it comes to this game. So I wanted to, and I think I show a strong mental front, and I want to show them being mentally tough is what can get you through, even if you are making mistakes. So, and I also want to prepare them for I think high school and college is very different. And the responsibilities you have to take, and being outspoken and stuff like that. So I'm trying to push them to do better at that and stuff.
I think that's really important, being outspoken like that, especially in a team environment. If you have something to say it, because it could be for the better of the team. Somebody else could need to hear something that you need to say. I really think that's important. So going back, you guys have a couple of weeks left. What are we looking for, to end the season? Obviously, number one seed to get home field advantage here for playoffs. But how are we looking as a team? Obviously, you guys have a really strong bond through the girls. and you have a couple more series left, how are we going to finish out, the rest of the year?
We're really just trying to finish on a high note. We know what we need to do to beat these teams. And I think together as a whole, since we have such a strong bond, we can definitely accomplish it. We just need to keep working towards it and really lock down and beat these conference teams.
Yeah, I think the teams that are closer together win. You could have all the skill in the world and you guys could still lose because you don't trust each other, you're not one with one another. And I think this team really shows we are one with one another, and I think that gives us a great advantage throughout the conference.
So as we trail off here, we're going to play a little game of how well do Shannon and Jaclyn know each other. And I feel like I genuinely am going to be surprised if it's not as well as I think, but I feel like it has to be pretty well. Okay, so I'm just going to ask a couple of questions and you're going to answer it based on the other. Okay, so do you guys know each other's favorite color?
Pink.
Is yours purple?
So is that right? Yeah. Oh, okay, good. Okay, good. Okay, do you guys drink coffee?
Yes.
Every day.
Yep, every day.
Okay, so what's a coffee order for each other?
Shannon gets vanilla from Dunkin', and she gets the shaken espressos from Starbucks.
Jaclyn gets caramel from Dunkin', and from Starbucks, she usually just gets either a shaken espresso or she makes her own iced coffee.
Gotcha. I think that's funny because one likes pink, one likes purple, the other one likes caramel, the other one likes vanilla. Like polar opposites.
Me and her, out of the three, are definitely not polar opposites 100%.
Really? Who is Caitlin more like?
Me.
Really?
Her, very close.
You were like her.
Yeah.
So kind of like the odd one out here. Yeah. Well, I mean, hey. Okay. So hold on. How do I word this? So before a game, what is the other one doing to get ready? Like a pregame ritual kind of thing. Do you have one?
Jaclyn just talks to people.
I do. I just social butterfly. Shannon, I don't know. She just hits. I don't know. Does something. I don't know. She
Probably
pissed.
snacking.
Yeah, probably snacking, eating food.
Fair enough.
Drinking her coffee.
Okay, that's a good one. That will lead me into this one. What is the favorite snack of each other? In between a game? Because I know you guys are loaded with snacks over there at Barcroft. So what is the other one going for? Do you know?
Jaclyn doesn't really like to eat between games.
Oh, really?
You eat pickles. Yeah. I think Shannon says
that kind of makes sense. That's not that far off. I feel like you were pickles are weird. I get it. That makes sense. So you don't eat between games?
No, I don't know. When I'm nervous, not nervous, but under a lot of pressure, I don't want to eat.
That's fair. I don't like eating before swim meets. Yeah.
I'm trying to I don't know. I just can't. Some people will be snacking in the dugout because they have anxiety. I'm like, you guys are crazy.
I literally don't eat at swim meets either. No, thank you. Put the food away. It makes me uneasy just looking at it. And so then this isn't about the sister bond. I'm going to touch on a little special guest that I think you guys have. You guys have a dog.
Yeah.
Let's hear a little bit about Duncan. That's his name, right?
Yeah, it's Duncan because I love Duncan. Yeah, so I got him last summer, so he was with me throughout the fall, but he stays with my boyfriend during the spring because I'm not here enough. But he comes to all the games. Everyone on the team loves him.
He's the team mascot in a way. He's a golden, is that right? He's a golden retriever, but he's almost like a Saint Bernard for Saints. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the whole team loves him, and they love when he comes to the games. He
That's
likes
always
coming
fun.
because he likes to run on the field. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's so cute. All right, guys. Well, I want to thank you so much for joining me today. It was really special to learn more about you guys. And, I feel like every time I do your play-by-play, I'm in the sister duo, Shannon and Jaclyn behind the plate and in the circle. I think it's really special, to learn a little bit about more of you guys and your program. You guys are a really strong group of girls, and I'm really excited to see what you can accomplish at the end of this year.